It's lovely to see you all. Welcome those that are joining in through the Zoom and the Facebook Live. Same again. It's good to have you guys, and wherever you're watching, yeah, thank you for joining in. So today, I'll just give you a quick sort of brief on what we're doing today. So today I've decided to do a couple of casseroles. So we're going to do one that's a corned beef cauliflower mash with cabbage and grated cheese, and we're going to bake it. And then we're going to do a tuna bake as well. So that'll be like tuna, just the canned tuna, and the same for the corned beef, just canned corned beef. We're going to use Cauliflower was cheap the other day. It was $1 each, so that was like a really good special. And one of our members shared that on the page. So those that took advantage of it did a really good job. So broccoli was a little bit dearer, so but the frozen stuff it was cheaper. So we're going to use this in our tuna bake today, with the other part of our cauli. We've got cherry tomatoes also with our tuna bake, and we've got onion to go with our corned beef dish. And then I'll show you what we can do with a few other ingredients after we've done those. But also just remember, with a casserole, like it's a really good way to use up all your leftovers. So if you've got heaps of leftovers in the fridge, have a look and see how you can combine them and add a few extra ingredients, put it into a dish. Today I'm just using these foil dishes out of convenience, but put a casserole dish, put some cheese over it, or garnish it the best way you can, and serve that up as a dish. And then it's a nice way to sort of see the week out with all the leftovers through the week. And you know, if you make plenty, there's some for lunch the next day, and we can make these low carb and yeah, really yummy. So just something to think about when you are making pie or trying to figure out what to make. Check your fridge and look at what kind of leftovers you have and go from there. Even a good old fry up, that's another nice way to do it. Okay, so what I've done is a lot of these ingredients are actually quite cheap as well at the moment. So cabbage was $2. So I've already cut up half, and what we're going to do is we're going to combine the corned beef and the onion and cabbage all together. We're going to fry it up in the big pot here. At the back here, I've already put cauliflower on just because there's a lot there. It takes a bit to boil. But when we do that, just when you cut it up, you don't need to cut it up into small pieces. Just cut it up so it not sits in the pot really nice. Cover it in water and just boil it away, because we are going to mash it down with butter and cream. So we're going to keep it like really simple and easy. All right. So we'll get into it. So today with this dish, I'm going to use 2 cans of corned beef. Always check your, when you walk in, a lot of the time you can find corned beef on special. They do limit on what you can buy at certain shops, but it's just good to have in the cupboard, because that's a great addition to have. You can have it on its own, cook it in butter or oil, have it with onions. It'll be a really simple dish, and it's low carb, and it's got heaps of fat in it, really good fat. So what we're going to do, I've got some butter here. It's going to take about 100 grams. Cut that. We're going to add that to the. Right. We're going to turn that on high. And then just while that's heating that up, we've got a cabbage there ready to go. I'm going to put that there out of the way, because what I'll do is I'll be jumping between the two dishes just to do the prep so that they can try and come out of the oven at the same time when we do the baking process. These recipes will be up. We've just finished editing the last 4 weeks, the last 4 weeks recipes, so those will be up as well. So we'll share those. Cream was on special as well. These were on special, so I got mozzarella again. If mozzarella is on special, I always get it. It's just a great cheese to have in the fridge, and it's grated, but you can buy the blocks and use the flavor that you like, and it's still cost effective at the end of the day. Cherry tomatoes are on special as well, so that's going to go in our tuna bake, and that's just a nice little addition to give it a different flavor. We've got our salt and pepper, so our seasoning, we're keeping it really simple. And then these were on special as well, so chunky tuna and spring water. You can also get the one in olive oil. So that's going to go in today's cooking, and I'll show you after this with what we've got left how we can just make up a simple say corned beef cabbage and some cognac noodles sort of dish on the side for another easy option to cook at home, and that's we can do that in like less than 10 minutes. Okay, so our butter is just about broken down, so what we'll do, so there's different types of corned beef out there. You know, stick to what you use at home, it doesn't matter. I just buy what's on special. Yeah, so you got the palm, that's probably one of my favorite in this country, Golden Country one. Same with you, choose what you can get a hold of. So what I'm gonna do is put that there, all ready to go. Now I've got an onion, so this is just one whole onion, so medium or large, it's up to you. Half an onion if you know, if you don't like too much onion. But we're just going to add that to the butter. Really easy, and then we're just going to let it mix through. We're just going to brown the onion off, or just get it to so it's just translucent. All right. Put in now. So, you know, if you like to add other seasonings, garlic or whatever to it, you're more than welcome to. But I'm just doing just onions and butter at the moment. You know, we can keep it simple. We can add a few other ingredients. So mix that through. Make sure it's on high. And we want to break down those onions. And then after that, we're going to add our corned beef there. Like I was saying just before, I actually put the collie on already. It doesn't. You just want to boil it until it's really, really soft, because when we add the butter and cream in that, it's going to break down. You can do it by hand. I've got a hand mixer there as well, or you can use like a NutriBullet or a Vitamix if you've got one. Same, just put it all in, put the butter on top, add a bit of cream, and then blitz it. That's just a really, really easy way of doing it. But if you don't have access to any of those, yeah, you can buy a whiz stick for $15 from the warehouse, and you can use that for everything. So I make jams, all of those kind of things, and that's what I use to blitz it. Okay. Also, you know, with any casserole dishes, it's good to share any ideas you guys have. Like, you know, you might cook up different types of casserole dishes. So feel free to share them up on the page and show us what you make at home. Or if you have a go at this, share it at home. So that's actually really nice. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. Remember, you don't need to add too much salt with this dish, because the corned beef itself is quite salty. So it's one of those things you just, I guess, add some taste, like whatever suits you guys. And you don't want to salt it too much so it's too overwhelming and you don't like your dish. So this is almost done. So remember, you don't have to cook the onions right through, but really combine it well. I'll show you. So it's just all the butters combined all through. You've got a nice color there. So as you can see, and we're gonna, sorry, we're gonna add corned beef to that. Right. So make sure you get everything out of the pan because that's all the goodness in there. So we're going to add it all. We're going to add 2 cans of that.
Sorry, I'm late.
There we go. So never leave the fat behind in the can. Make sure you get that out because that's actually all the good stuff. So we're going to combine that with the onions now. Just mix it through. So yeah, corned beef and onions. It's really yum.
Yeah.
So just on its own, it's yum. You know, if you're thinking of like the quickest dish you can make, this will be one of them. You can just eat this. Yeah. So we want to cook that through. And then what we're going to do is add the cabbage last. And then we're going to put the lid on and we're going to let the cabbage wilt down. And then we're going to combine that, mix it right through with the cabbage. That's really going to thicken it up. And then once our cauli is ready, we're going to mash that separately. And then we're going to combine everything into that one dish. And then add cheese out of the top for another and bake it. So it's a really simple process. All right. So I'll let that cook for a little bit.
Hey, Jared. Jared,
Yes.
just letting you know, Carrie is watching via the Zoom, and same with Jeannie. And Jeannie said, Mum says you're going skinny.
Oh,
You
thank
look
you.
skinny. Oh,
Good.
and Jamie Lee just joined as well. If you want to say a kia ora to Carrie, Jamie Lee, and Jeannie.
Good, Karen, and Jen. Good to see you joining in. Hope the bro is all good.
And on Facebook,
Hey.
Jeannie said she made it the other night with mushroom blue cheese risotto, and it was really yum.
Oh, good.
Cauliflower rice or something. So yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit of feedback while you're cooking, Jared.
Yeah, thank you. Kia ora, Jamie Lee as well. Hope you're all well. Okay, with the broccoli, a little bit different. We only need to boil the broccoli, or you can steam it, it's up to you, fresh or frozen. We're only going to boil it just past, we don't want to go real soft. We still want maybe a little bit of crunch there. So when we add it to our, and you got to remember, when you boil it, and even when you take it out, take the water out, they still continue to cook away. So there is a bit of a timing thing. So when we get it out, we're basically going to put it into the dish, and I'll show you what I mean. Because we don't want it to get too soft. We want it to still have maybe a little bit of crunch if possible. If you don't, it doesn't matter. It'll still taste nice with the cheese sauce in it. So yeah. Okay. So now we've got that on. So make sure you corned beef is really mixed in well now with our onions and our butter. Smells good too. We did add a little bit of pepper before. So with that, we're going to add our cabbage. Okay. So I've added a whole half. So that was half of that cabbage. And then what we're going to do is really combine all that corned beef with it. Okay. So mix it through really well. And then what we're going to do is let that sit and let the cabbage walk down a bit. Okay. So like I was saying earlier, casseroles are really good for using up all your leftovers, combine them all together, put them in a big dish and then just, top it off with some cheese or whatever you like to top it with, and then put it in the oven and bake it, round it off and then serve it up. Yeah, so something to remember or consider. Okay, so show you what I mean. So here's our cabbage and corned beef. All right, so just for those at home, corned beef and cabbage. All right, and then we're gonna just let that cook through. Give it a good mix. Make sure you've got all that corned beef through the cabbage. We can turn the heat down a bit on that too. It doesn't need to be so high anymore. And we're just going to let that just combine together, all those flavors. Our collie will be almost ready, so what we're going to do is take that off and I'll show you how to prep that. For now, with your oven, just set it on to bake and turn it on to about 160, just preheat the oven, and that's good to go when you're ready to put the tray in. It'll be ready to basically cook within about 5-10 minutes of browning off and then serve. So that's really simple as well. Okay, so I've got 3 dishes here today, so I think I should have enough to combine the 2 of the corned beef dishes and this one will be our tuna bake. All right, so
Where are they from?
so I just got them over the road. Yeah, there's so many to choose from. You can get the smaller ones, but when you're serving quite a big family, there's even the ones where you can get the top on it and you just peel it over. So now, if you are going to go to an event or something where you're sharing your pie, that's a cool way to put that over and then take it, put it in the oven, heat it up wherever you are.
So you can heat it up with the top on.
Yeah.
You know how it's got paper on?
Yeah, so some of them have a foil, so you flip it over, it's got the foil side of it.
Mm.
Yeah, you can still just heat it up on a low heat and it will heat up right. It won't catch on fire. Yeah. But if you are worried that could happen, just take it out. Yeah, best to be sure. Okay. All right. So, when you want to check your collie, the best way is to use a knife or fork. You can stab it and it obviously slides off. It's really it's boiled really well. It's still got a little bit to go. It's still solid. We really want it to be really soft, guys. Okay. If it's soft, it means it's going to be easier for us to mash up. So we really want that to happen. What I'll do is I might start the cheese sauce as well, so that sits, and then it sort of thickens up while it's sitting and waiting. So when we're ready to combine with our tuna bake, we're good to go. So the reason for making this several times is just to show you guys how easy it is to make. I've had so many people ask me, how do you make the cheese sauce? And I only make it with pretty much 3 ingredients and a bit of seasoning. It's that simple. All right. So we just use butter, cream, and we use the cheese. That's all we use. Those combine it, and then we put a bit of salt and pepper in it, and then just to give it a bit of seasoning flavor. And that's to your taste again. So if you like the salt, add the salt. There's nothing wrong with it. Have it, enjoy it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push our quick pot to the back. That's pretty much almost ready, so we're just letting that combine now. That's done. So we're just going to let that melt our cheese down. Then we're going to combine the cream with it. And then we're going to let that combine as well, and then it's going to start to boil. And as it just boils, add the cheese, and then mix it, and add a bit of salt, pepper, and then it's pretty much ready. That's how quick it is.
No xanthan gum?
No xanthan gum. You can add it with different types of cheeses. So different cheeses will give you a different texture. So mozzarella is quite gooey and sticky, so it's actually quite easy to use for this. But if you're using other cheeses, you know, you'll notice the difference. It might be a little bit more runnier, but as it cools down, it oxidizes and it actually goes hard anyway. Yeah. So we're going to add about half the cheese. Well, about 600 mils, I think I've just added, so that'll work. And then always just make sure you got the cheese on hand. So when it's ready to go, I add about 2 cups or 2 big handfuls. All right, and then we mix it. So before that, we can add the salt now. These things. Just if you just give it a bit of a stir, you'll notice that the butter starts to melt and combine with the cream, and then it'll start to bubble, and then like cream does, it rises. So that's why I say watch it. You don't want it to overflow. You burn it on the elements. So as soon as it starts to do that, that's your go-to to just put this cheese in. Like I was saying, this particular cheese that I got, the Rolling Meadows one was on special, so I grabbed it. It was $6.99. $6.99 yesterday for that bag. There are the other brands out there. I just buy what's on special. Yeah, I don't particularly stick to a brand.
I bought that green one and I couldn't get it to seal back, which was hopeless. So you were rolling.
So what you can do when you're struggling to get it to seal is just get a peg, roll it over, put a peg on it, put it in. That's another easy way. And you can do that for any of your pantry items as well. Just use a peg. You know, at least it'll keep it fresher for longer. Right. So it's almost starting to slowly bubble. Just going to give this a stir. And you can actually really smell the corned beef and cabbage actually. Now, just another simple tip is you can eat that by itself, and you can use the cognac noodles. You can use the different variations to suit yourself, and you just combine that. You put that in there as well, mix it through, and you can just serve that up as a dish. And that's actually a really quick, easy dish to make. And that's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
So don't get caught out like I just did there. Like that. But don't ever panic. Don't panic. Okay, the worst thing you can do is panic. Just let it off and then just give it a wipe. Okay, so these things happen. As long as the cloth is nice and wet, it's a little bit flaky. But yeah, don't panic. Don't panic. All right, stay calm. It happens. All right. I'm just going to add the handful now. Yeah, I'm going to put that back on the heat. Put that back on. a good example of not what to do. Okay,
That's as good as one.
trust me, it's not my first time doing that, so I don't feel bad either. Yeah, maybe just have a wet cloth ready to go if you do accidentally do that. It does happen. Okay. So as you mix that through, what happens is the cheese starts to break down and melt into the butter and cream. Okay. Just keep an eye on it. Give it a little stir because we don't want to burn it to the base of the pot. That's the cheese sauce basically, those three ingredients. Sorry, those are a bit smoky. Okay. Also, these are ready. So remember the broccoli I was saying we don't need. So put that out. So I'm still keeping an eye on that, don't worry. So you'll notice starting to really dissolve into the mixture. Okay. Keep mixing it until all the cheese is actually melted into the cream and butter. And just keep stirring it. It will, it will go to the bottom of the pot. Part of just clean later. But here we go. I'll show you. That's the cheese sauce. Right? And when it starts to get smoother and smoother, and it's more of a cheese. I'll show you the cheese. There we go. Alright. I'll just show those at home. There you go. Shop right. So there's our cheese sauce, so if you can see that. And that's just butter, cream, and cheese. And we're going to just let that sit to the side. That's just ready to go when we combine all the ingredients, so I'll show you what I mean. So let's check these. So those are almost ready as well. So like I said, we really want to boil them down so they're really soft, so when we actually do mash it up, it's going to be really, really easy to do. Okay. So with this, I'm just going to take the broccoli and spread it out. Okay. And I'm going to get one of the cans. We're going to do this in a couple of layers. I'll show you. For those edges to be sharp. So just want to drain the pieces out. Okay.
You got the tuna olive oil.
Yeah.
Did you just leave the olive oil?
I would, yeah, because olive oil's got some really good fats in it. So I'll just leave it in and just pour it in. But just remember at the bottom of the dish to be quite runny. And that's fine. But the tank is good. You just sort of just break it down. I've got the other can here. So like I said, we're going to do this in a couple of layers. So we'll just spread it out. This is a really nice low carb dish, this one. Okay. Spread it out. You know, if you don't like to have too much of a tuna, tuna in it, just take the one can and just break up how much you mix. Most cans here have a little bit of stuff at the bottom there. Okay. What we do from there, talk about cherry tomatoes. And you don't cook the cherry they will actually bake in the oven. So let's get out half of those. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to use some of the cauliflower from it here. Now, I'm only using these because I haven't cooked enough. Okay. So these are, we were really fortunate. These were like, the collies were like $1 the other day at Pick and Save. So for those that took the advantage, good on you. You know, I always talk about like, always buy that little bit extra and you can just freeze them up. Same. So I'm just gonna take those. Using much poly in this one. Yeah, you can use your frozen poly with this one as well, does it matter? What we're going to do is just add this. Colors. So I was saying the sauce will sit for a little bit longer. So see it's starting to come out quite nice. It's got really nice flavors. So I was going to add another can of chili, but it's actually quite enough in there. Suits you a lot. So that's what it looks like so far. All right, so that's what, really simple. We've only got 4 broccoli, 4 poly, fresh cherry tomatoes, and the tuna. And what we're going to do, we're just going to pour the sauce over the top. Now you can do this in layers too. You can do the like do the broccoli, do some sauce, do some tuna, mix it up. But we're going to put this whole thing in. Okay, so we're going to leave any behind. Leave it all up. So make sure you cover all the bits that you haven't yet. And then what we're going to do, we're going to add more cheese. Same before. So that's what it looks like at the moment. We'll let our cheese sauce, and then we'll take another bit of mozzarella. We're going to add more. So get into the edges and just sprinkle that over the top. And remember, there's no right or wrong way. You layer it how you want. Okay. When you put all these ingredients in your mouth at the same time, it's going to taste the same. So we want to make it easy as possible for you guys to do that. All right. So that's almost ready. So that'll be the next. So that's what it's going to look like. So we're going to boil that. Sorry, we're going to bake that now. And the baking time is just browning the top of this. All right. So for those at home, that's what it looks like. And like I said, I put the oven on 160 and I preheated it. We're just going to slip that in. I'm just going to let it do its thing, okay? So, going back to our other dish. So, this is our. So I'll show you. You actually see what the cabbage is really wilted down now. We're going to hit that. So, okay, so that's our cabbage all wilted down. It's all good to go. What we're going to do, we're going to add that. To our whole dish. Then we can try and get out everything. Really good time. Okay. It doesn't matter what you do at the moment, just spread it out. But we are going to put the cauliflower mash at the top, but we're actually going to mix it through so it combines with the corned beef and the cabbage. What we do is put more cheese on. Okay. So let's just take that away so we've got some eyes there. Right. So what we're going to do is rinse off our collie here. Like I said, with the collie, we really want to. If I can do that and pull it up, it's still too hard. It's just not even. It's really soft now. So we'll drain it off. Send the elements off. So I was going to use that pot to do it, but I'll just use the pot. Okay. So drain all the water out. So what we want to do is we want to put butter on first. We want the butter to melt. So I'm going to just put it straight on top. Make sure you take the paper off. So someone putting it out of the mouth halfway through their eating. Okay, so here we go. And that is really hot. The butter's going to just melt on its own. Right? Now, okay, so like I said, we can hand mash it. So we've got one of these at home. You guys can do that. Or get the kids to do it. It's actually hard work. Right. So there is that option. This is the next option up, which is what I'm going to use today. So these are warehouse $15, and I use them for pretty much everything. Like you can use it to make up smoothies, shakes, whatever. Really simple. Then there's these, but I don't know where the other attachment is. So this is a Linda or a veggie bullet. Use one of those. Just put everything into the cup that you're using. Put the butter on, put the salt and pepper on. Pour a little bit of cream in. Don't pour too much cream in. And then just combine it, and then it should come out really nice and smooth. And you're good to go. You can eat it straight out of that if you want, or add it to your dish that you're trying to make. Yeah. So this is started to. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to just pour the cream like heaps of cream in. We're just going to add it to get the texture that we want. Okay. So we're just going to pour a bit over the top. Okay. Some pepper. So remember, we didn't turn the heat up on that because I just want that to not go as quick. I want it to almost be, so I'm putting them out closer to the same time. And that will go on top, and then the other one should not get as long. So we're good to go there. So what I'm going to do is just move some of these over. Trust me, it'll taste nice when we're ready to serve. Okay, so same again. Just going to plug that in, and just this is even a cool job for the kids. They love like playing with electrics and toys. So get your kids into it. So you got the two settings. So you got 1 and then 2. So just straight into it. And it doesn't take too long, but really combine it. So it also pays to have a cup on hand. I'll show you what I mean. Just put a bit of cup with a little bit of water. So when you want to do it clean, just do that. And then it's pretty much clean. Right? So I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to show you how quick that's starting to combine. So that's going to be our mash. And it looks like regular mash that we would normally make, but this is our collar mash that is at home. But we really want to combine that cream and that butter really well. And we want it to be real smooth. Really break down all those cauliflower pieces. And like you get a pretty good texture for what this offers. If you're doing the neutral bullet, you get a really fine runny texture on like a cream, like whipped cream almost. And you know, don't be.
What texture do you think?
For me, it's just like what's convenient on the plate. Like I said, like you know, when you're making volume, it's sort of like ad-lib. You know, you want and when you're constrained to times and limits and all that, but like that's a really good texture. So that's really good. You know, and that's not even that much cream. So our cream was about there. So there's probably about 50 mils to 100 mils of cream that we put in it, and we've put about 60 grams of butter in it, and there's salt and pepper. So I'm going to leave it at that. What we're going to do is just, like I was saying before, we're just going to add that all the way through. Now, there's 2 ways you can do it, guys. And I'll show you what I mean. So, now you can do it as and just cover it up like that. And then put your grated cheese, and you've got like underneath, it's like a pie and a top, you know, so you can do it like that, or you can just mix it through like this. And remember, you got all the juices from the corned beef and the butter that we cooked with the onions, because you remember the onions in here as well. So we're going to combine all those. Okay. And this is a really easy dish. Like, you know, this is something you can do at home. And then just fan it out. Like, yeah, it's going to be really good. Okay, so there you have it. So that's that, and then we're going to add cheese. Doing it all quite nicely, that one. Break down the cheese so it's sprinkled really nicely. So, yeah, if you sort of like that sort of pie option and have separate layers, I totally recommend doing it that way. And then there's also just this way, and the cheese becomes that crust on top when you burn it off. And then what we'll do is just mount it, but there's no colour. What we'll do is we just grill the top off. Okay. Really, really easy. So yeah, don't be shy. The cheese. Cheese is done. And this, I'll show you what I'm going to do next with like cabbage. We've got some leftover cherry tomatoes there. And we've got some dishes that we can make up in a few minutes. Right, so that's that. So we're going to open the oven up. Stick that in. Shelf, and we're going to just turn it up. Okay, it's just going to bake away, and then so put the holes over here.
Jared, with the cheese sauce,
Yeah.
if you put leftovers, and I'm just one person,
Yeah.
it goes hard in the fridge, but you can just soften it again in the microwave or put it over hot collie and things and it'll melt back again.
Yeah, or stick it back on the elements.
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
heat it up and
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're right, because it does when you put it in the fridge and
It's like
it's set. You can just eat it like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It tastes awesome. Yeah, that's the cool thing about cheese sauce and that. All right. So with the cabbage, this way I'm just going to show you, like, just basically this cool thing about cabbage. There's so far already, you can get so much out of it. Like, you know, we've cooked all of that, but only used half of it. We've still got that and still got this. So, so what I'm going to do is cut it like a noodle. So just long strips. And when it gets to this end and you find it too hard, just flip it over flat. Fingers are. Okay. Add it there like that. So we'll do the other one as well because it's quite a lot. So if you are boiling cauli up, that's still a good part of the cauli. When you mash it up, it doesn't matter. So cut it up into chunks, boil it, it'll get real soft. But that was also in that mixture there. So we don't leave pretty much nothing behind sort of thing. So, you know, even if you just keep a hold of it and put it to the side, you can do something with it. Yeah. Bring this sauce in there. So yeah, if you're cooking for a big family, or you know, go to a dinner where you're going to have heaps of people, these are quite cool little dishes you can add and take as your shared pie. I'm using them up, so there's like no wastage. Okay. Let's take this on. Now you can use a big frying pan if you've got one, or we're just going to reuse this pot. Not really going to as such. Chop off some butter again in the element. I'll get it nice and hot, so just okay. We've got butter, don't worry. When you just add the corned beef on its own, there's quite a lot of fat in the corned beef, you just cook it in the same fat. Alright. So if you haven't got butter, don't sweat on it. Just the corned beef. That fat will actually give you all those nice juices in there. Alright. So that's actually melted down a bit. So what I'm going to do is change that to grill. We're just going to turn it up, keep an eye on it, so we'll turn it off and then pour it over there. Okay. So, in that. So same again. We'll put all that in there. Let's grab an extra onion. So, onions. If you haven't got any, even red onions are really nice ones. So you get all of them. When they're on special, helps. Yeah. Get that all up. So we're just going to combine that. It won't take long for you to combine the butter and the corned beef. This is just showing you how quick this dish can be. By the time that should come up, these are almost finished. Okay, just add this, 2 tomatoes. Now you can cut them up smaller if you want, so you can have them in quarters. It's up to you. Okay, so you mix that through. Add. Now, remember, it looks like a lot of cabbage to start with, but actually, when it walks down and breaks down, it's actually not much at the end of it. Like, it's still the same volume, it's just. Sorry, be careful, sometimes you change from that. You can still cut those up and use them. So mix that corned beef through. Because the good thing about corned beef, it's got a really strong flavor and it's quite salty, so it's going to combine really nice with the cherry tomatoes and the cabbage. Okay. Very good. These are really good low carb dishes, guys. Like really good for at home. My kids actually really love this one. It's easy. Yeah. So mix it through, and like I said, it's on high. So leave it on high because you really want to break the cabbage down, coat it down. And feel free to add pepper, the salt. Not too much, like I was saying before, because the fish is quite salty already. almost ready, so don't forget to keep an eye on that. Okay. We're going to put the lid on and just leave that to do its thing. And then we're going to prep those noodles. That's hungry. What we're going to do, we're going to pull this one and put it up into the top so that it too can brown off. Right. So let's go there. We'll get our noodles. So I've talked about these noodles over the last 4 weeks, I think now. So just to give you like an idea on all the variations in there. So we've got fettuccine, there's rice, there's straight angel noodles, which are really good with chop suey. Vermicelli. Yeah, and like the same with these, like it really goes nice in this dish here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put it into our sieve here or colander if you got whatever you got at home, and we have to rinse them off. You can get it, right? Never as easy as you would like. Yeah, so just pour that in, and just remember we're going to empty both. Into there. So there is a little tab there that's supposed to make it easier to rip, but they don't always work. So see how you go. There we go. This one worked. Okay. That still browning off. That's coming along nicely. So just with some water, just rinse that through. Okay.
It says you have to rinse it, doesn't it?
So it says the rinse. Yes, you need to rinse it, guys. It has a very fishy sort of smell. So definitely do that. Okay. So we'll rinse it, and then we're just going to let it sit there. It's almost ready. So let's stir it. Okay. What we do is we just add that. Bind it all together, okay? So bind those noodles with all the cabbage, the corned beef, the cherry tomatoes. Pretty much that's how we serve it, just like that, or add some grated cheese on top again. Flavor. Well, those have been browning off. We've managed to cook this, so it just shows you how quick this dish is with the ingredients. So just a bit of butter, corned beef, cabbage, and the cognac noodles. And just leave that on there. We can get that out of there. Yeah. Transfer this one. Okay. So there we go. Now, if you really wanted to, you could do the same as we've done with the previous dishes. We could put all of that contents in there, cover it with cheese and bake it up and brown the cheese off if you want. Or you can do it the other way. We'll put it in the dish or leave it in that if you want. We can serve it into a bowl and just sprinkle cheese on top and a seasoning of your choice, put salt and pepper. That's up to you. So I'm actually gonna just leave it in there. But I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so corned beef, cabbage, cognac noodles with cherry tomatoes. So really simple, and we make that while we were just rounding off the others. So.
And just throw some sauce in it and be top soy. Yeah.
30 minutes.
I made something similar like that, but with
Okay, so I'll just show those at home. So this is like I was saying, corned beef, cabbage, cognac noodles with cherry tomatoes, and just step by step adding ingredients and mixing together and cooking. And you can just serve it like that into a bowl and garnish it with grated cheese, salt and pepper, whatever you like. So I might just leave it in that. That over to here. And yeah, so any questions about any of the processes that we've learned today? No?
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
You can do this at home, no worries. So we've oh, there you go. So we've made those 3 dishes inside an hour.
Yeah.
In volume, that's quite a lot. If you're doing it for a big family, yeah, you can make those in like 20 minutes for your own family at home. All right.
And for the price of all the ingredients?
Yeah, so I spent, say, $93. I haven't used it all, so we're looking at, take those out. Still got the cream. So I probably would have spent about $75 all up for those 3 dishes here. We should be able to get 8, 16, probably about 25 serves, maybe 30 serves out of all of that. All right, about $3, between $3 and $4 a serve. So I would expect to get out of the big tray about 8 serves maybe.
Yes.
You remember, it's because it's got heaps of good fat in it, it's going to fill us up, so we don't need to overload our plate. It's best to just put enough on our plate, enjoy it, and if you're still hungry, go back and get some more. The other cool thing is I'm really big on advocate of, so like cook that little bit extra, put it in the fridge, and you've got lunch or breakfast in the morning, because that is a yummy breakfast. Okay, or if you're fasting, that's a yummy lunch. Yeah, so it's, you know, it was all about saving yourself time, and we did this all in 1 hour. So you know, fruit is in the pudding. So in saying that, those at home, is there any questions? Any questions, Cam?
Just having a look. No, it looks pretty pretty clear on both sides.
Yeah,
So no,
excellent.
all good.
I'll just close off then. Like, thank you for those that have joined in today on Facebook Live and on the webinar and that. That's really good. Thank you guys for coming. We're gonna have a feed now. Wish you guys were here. That smells good. So next week, join in again, same time, 10 to 12. Now that we're level 1, you know, no more hard in my contact. Let's, you know, let's try and get back to a bit of normality having you guys in here. You know, it's really cool having you guys here. And keep the questions coming. Use the Low Carb Healthy Whānau page. Share what you're doing out there. Inspire others around you. Any good deals. So thanks, Maria, for the share for the Pack deal, because $1 collie is such a good buy. So when those kind of sales come up, yeah, take advantage, share it out, and hopefully we can all capitalize on that. All right. So yeah, thank you, Whānau. Have a great weekend, and again, guys.
And I've got 3 pieces of ginger.
Oh, yeah, and I've got the
Awesome. Thanks, Jared. Make sure you take an awesome photo. Did you take some more awesome photos?
I'll plate it up and I'll take some awesome photos. We'll share them on the page as well. All right.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
And peel it.